Creating from the Heart, the Artistry of Living. I'm Suzy Vance, and I'm here with Jackie Thomas. She's head of South Shore
Public Relations.
South Shore Public Relations.
So
Yay.
South Shore PR.
South Shore PR.
That
Look
works.
at how easy that is.
Yeah.
So Jackie, how did you get into this? Did you have a background in public relations?
Yes, but I did it in an untraditional way. I mean,
Oh, I love that.
I did it. So I went to school for communications I did my undergrad work at Purdue Northwest, which I got a great education there. I'm so happy I went to school there. And while I was in college, I did a couple really good internships out of Chicago, and the type of internships where I could have or should have been able to walk in anywhere and get a job. But it was 2008 is when I graduated. And so I found myself sitting in, waiting rooms for a job interview with somebody who is where I'm at in my career now, who was willing to take any job, right? Because it was so bad.
Yes.
So my husband, I had just gotten married and I knew I wanted to have a family. And so my husband said, well, why don't you take a break? And we'll stay home, have babies, and you can help me build my business and you can do the PR for my business. And I thought, okay, that works. Oh. So I did. He and I own a business together called Anglotopia. We're the largest Anglophile website in the world. And I really cut my teeth in PR doing that business.
What does Anglophile mean?
An Anglophile is a person who loves anything and everything British culture.
Got it.
Related. Yeah. So I built strategic partnerships with huge multinational corporations like British Airways, and my husband was interviewed on the BBC for both royal weddings, and
you cut your teeth.
Yeah, I did, and I really did it. So traditionally for public relations, you'll go to school for it, and then you'll work at an agency, and that's kind of where you cut your teeth. And I somehow skipped agency, but now I own an agency, which is really funny. So after a while, my husband and I'd been with the business for about 10 years. My kids had just went to school full time, and I said, we live together, we raise kids together, we work together. We're very happy, but this is a lot of together. I need something of my own. And I took a job over at the Duneland Chamber.
Yeah.
And I ran their European market for a couple of years.
Ah.
And I will tell you, it's events management, which absolutely falls under public relations. But back when I was there, when you were the market director, you did all the marketing, all the PR, event management, all of it. You were it. I mean, there was supporting staff, but you were it. And so in a lot of ways, it was a PR job. And you do PR every day when you're out there as the market director. And from there, I moved on and I took a job in tech and technology.
Yes.
So I worked
what
for
kind of technology?
I worked for a Catholic bulletin publisher, which is funny. We're sitting in this lovely old Catholic school. The Catholic bulletin publisher bought a Catholic app back when this was brand new. They just weren't a thing. And I worked for the Catholic app part division of the company, and I was there for a little more than a year. And I started just as general communications. They needed a comms person, but they said, come in, we know we need communications, but we don't know what we need. So make the role your own. And I said, I love that. Perfect. I'll take it. And by the time I left, they had promoted me to the marketing director for the entire company. But little did I know, I had just accepted another job. And meanwhile, I had went back to school for my master's at Purdue, strategic communication and public relations. And I took my first directorship role with the Professional Convention Management Association. So they do global events, meetings and trade shows and that kind of thing. And I started that job on March 4th of 2020. So little did I know, like, I like to say where I really earned my stripes was there, because as a membership organization, globally what they had to say mattered. And it wasn't just meetings and events and trade show folks that were impacted. It was entire hospitality industry, entire large segments of industry and business, and looking to us as an organization, like, do we meet? Do we not meet? What do we do? Like, we were, we were completely in uncharted territory, and there really wasn't time to onboard, and we had,
But you're used to this.
Whew. Well, I wasn't then, but I am now, and I will tell you, I learned really quickly, like, I like to say that's where I earned my PR stripes and my crisis management stripes. So, I was with them for almost a year. I stepped away. My kids were e-learning, and I worked so hard to get to that spot and to get to that job, to get to that level, working at the global level. And I mean, what do you do when your kid's sitting there and it's like, Mom, I need help with my math homework. Like, what are you going to do? And so I stepped away. Then when my kids went back to school, I was able to go back to work, and a friend of a friend reached out to me and said, hey, NIPSCO could use some public affairs assistance on the Double Track project in Michigan City. Would you be interested in that? And I thought, okay. So I worked as a contractor and assisted NIPSCO with public affairs for the Double Track project here in Michigan City, and then the Westlake project. And I really liked it. It was really challenging. It's a very complex issue. There's a lot of positives with it, but that's not to say that we shouldn't recognize the impact that it has on the community as a whole. But and I'm speaking for myself, obviously, not for NIPSCO, but
Right.
yeah. And then last but not least, so I was with them for a little more than a year, and an opportunity in Los Angeles came about.
Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
But you're here.
Right. And my husband and I were very settled here. We've got school-age kids, and I'd always wanted to live in LA, always. And I thought, I guess that's never going to happen. And the job was for an eyewear manufacturer, based in Europe, but they needed somebody to do public relations for North America, so for their portfolio of brands. And it happened very quickly. From like my first interview to living in LA was about 6 weeks. We didn't have time to really pack up the house or anything like that. I went ahead, and my husband and kids came out and joined me later.
This is
2022 into 23.
Okay.
Yes, I know. It's a lot. So I was there for almost a year to the day, and they just, like, out of nowhere, they laid me off and said all of our public relations are going back to Europe, and we had just moved across the country, and I was like, are
you kidding?
Are you serious? And so I was in LA, and I loved living in LA. I love here, but I also love it there. And I was feverishly searching for a job because, I mean, we couldn't survive without me working. And I got pretty far in a couple of rounds of interviews, but my heart wasn't in it. And I went to breakfast with my husband, and I said, I could do just about any PR job that I'm applying for, but I don't think I want to work for somebody else again. I think I want to pick my clients, and I want to, I had so many years now where, I'm working 60 hours a week, and I don't see my kids, and that's not the kind of mom I wanted to be. And so I said, okay, don't hate me, but can we go back to Chicago or the Chicagoland area, Northwest Indiana? And he said, I think we left breakfast, and he called the moving truck. I mean, he was so ready to come home. So we arrived last July. I did all the pre-work to set up the business before we got back. So website, marketing materials, all of that. And then I think we took a week to like settle back into the house. And
Settle back in because you had a house?
it happened so fast when I took the job that we literally locked up our house.
Oh my God, how fabulous.
It was meant to be that we had somewhere
To go.
come home to. So I'm so grateful. And we had friends and family that stopped in and looked after the house and all of that. But so that's a very long answer to.
No, but then you created South Shore PR.
Yes. So
And it's not like you didn't have some roots here.
no. I was born in Omaha but raised here.
Uh-huh.
I spent my entire childhood in Northwest Indiana. My husband's from here. Our extended families are from here. So we're I like to say
You're at the crossroads.
a region rat, like through and through, a Lake County kid. So that's one of the reasons I brought the business back here, because I understand this region.
Yeah.
Right. I know that we are really diverse and complex. We're not one industry. I mean, we go all the way from heavy industry to agriculture to arts. Everything in between is here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, we're glad that we won.
Yeah.
We won the lottery.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
so what is the most exciting thing that's going on in South Shore PR right now?
Oh, gosh, we're growing. We are growing as a company, and I could not be more grateful and thrilled. Over this past year, I think that anytime anybody starts a business, it's a gamble. Now, my husband and I, we still own Anglotopia, and it's still a going concern, and that's what my husband does. But it's always been his passion project, and I'm there as a partner to support and all of that. So when I started South Shore PR, I didn't go in with the mindset, I just went in like, this has got to work. Like, this has to work. I don't want to be in a position where I'm commuting back to Chicago again or South Bend. Like, this has got to work. And I think the most amazing thing over this past year is the people that I have met in this community, where I've lived in this community for 10 years. Now, granted, when you're working crazy hours, at least for me, my time to volunteer for things and join boards and that, so limited. Like, I just wasn't able to do that. Now I'm involved anywhere I can get involved. Oh, you need that? Yeah, sure. And it's been great. So lots of growth this year. And I'm just so grateful for the people that I've met over the past year that have either allowed me to be part of their organizations and support through public relations, right, or through giving time, volunteering, or that kind of. It's been just an incredible year of growth.
Wow, what a story.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's like you're on fire. And you created the opportunity to do it where you love the most and where you're the most comfortable. And what a story.
Thank you.
It's really called listening, don't you think?
I do.
Because in some ways, if you're listening and if you're attuned and if you're aware, things do fall in your lap. I mean, including not selling your house and so you can come back.
Yes.
It's just how fabulous.
I think I like to call them pivot points. I think there are pivot points in life where you have active choice which way you're going to go. And I loved living in Los Angeles and I miss it desperately, but I also really love being here. And I knew that it was one of those pivotal moments, right? Where it was like, okay, universe or whatever, if you believe in a higher power, okay, I hear you. Like, this is not the way to go. This is the way to go. So we're gonna go this way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just it somehow if you listen, there's a woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, you may remember.
Yes.
And she recently wrote a book called Big Magic. And she talks about how things are sort of, you can't see them, but they're embodied ideas. And they float around and they tap you on the shoulder. And you might listen. If you didn't listen, they'll tap you one more time. But if you don't listen, then they move on to somebody who will.
Yeah.
And you listened.
I did. I think, when, I stepped away from the Professional Convention Management Association because my kids needed me. I'm a mom first. And that was absolutely devastating and heartbreaking, and in a lot of ways felt like a layoff, even though I had stepped away willingly to a certain extent. It didn't feel like there was a lot of choice in the matter at the time. And then when the actual layoff last year came through with the eyewear company, that was absolutely devastating. I mean, to move my family across the country and set up essentially a whole new life when we were very established here. All of our family is here. I don't regret doing it, but the hardship that we went through by choice, again, right, full choice, just for less than a year later to be moving back. I mean, it was just...
You weren't moving back. You were moving on.
Yes, this is so true. This is so true, because you're correct. But the point that I'm trying to make is that in that moment of what felt like heartbreak or just like spinning, right? Like the universe is talking to you. Like the writing is on the wall. At least it was for me. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So what's the most exciting thing going on at South Shore PR right now?
The most exciting thing going on at South Shore PR, I think it's all of the work we're doing with nonprofits. We're doing a lot of work with nonprofits in the community. That we're doing some pro bono work. We have some nonprofit clients in the community, and just watching the work that we're doing collaboratively, just watching it blossom and watching it grow and watching the community respond to the work that is coming out of South Shore PR it's incredible to see, and it's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly where I wanted to be. And don't get me wrong, there are days that are really hard. And when you're an entrepreneur, like, there's no such thing as a weekend. And my phone is always on. But these are trade-offs, right? For following your passion and doing what you love.
Yes.
And there are days where they're really hard days, or things didn't go well that day. But, I wake up every morning and I kind of pinch myself that this is what I do for a living. Right. I can't believe I get to, and I always say, people are passionate about what others are passionate about. Mm-hmm. So like your podcast, this beautiful podcast, right? Like, people are passionate about it because you're passionate about it, and you're telling great stories.
I think so. And encouraging people to put their toe in the water. Yeah. To answer that.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. Great.
Very nice.
Good. Well, it's been lovely to talk with you.
Thank
I think
you.
it's great. Thank you
for
sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Creating from the Heart, the Artistry of Living. I'm Suzy Vance, and this wonderful Jackie Thomas. See you next time. And if you have someone you think I should talk with, please let me know. Thank you.